What's up everyone? Today's video is going to be a budget with me, but I'm also going to talk about the new digital cash envelope system I've been using. This is called QUBE, and I'll show you exactly how I've been using it. I can even show you some of the purchases that I've made from it. We're gonna go through my bullet journal and just see kind of my costs of things that have been going on in August. It's not gonna be absolutely perfect because that was the first month that I was using QUBE, so I'm still trying to figure out my categories, and then I can just show you guys how I got ready for September, what I budget for September, and how I am going to be, trying to save extra. Okay, so first off, let's talk about QUBE. So QUBE is a digital cash envelope system. This has been a game changer because if you didn't know, like I was doing an actual cash envelope system, which I know a lot of people had commented on my other videos about, with COVID and a lot of places aren't taking cash. Not only that, but I know that for some people it can be really frustrating to have to go to the bank, actually pull out cash, take the time to put them in all of the envelopes and keep all of that organized. Plus, when you're going to pay for things, sometimes it's frustrating, having to pull out cash and count it and stuff. So the reason that I switched over to QUBE is because it totally makes all of that way easier. You are not using cash at all, but you are still using a digital envelope system. It has been absolutely fantastic. Now this is a new company, so they are still working out kinks. They're still adding a ton of features. I've only been using this for about a month or two, and since I've been using it, they have gotten so many updates. They have added so many new things. So it is always changing. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but I don't have any complaints about it. The only thing that I will tell you, it takes a long time for my money from my actual bank account to hit my QUBE account in order for me to fund my QUBEs. It takes about 5 days. They are working on making that a little faster, and thankfully I do have a cushion in order to move my money over ahead of time before I actually need it. If you don't have that cushion, I could see how that could be a problem, but they do have direct deposit, so you could set up your direct deposit straight from your actual job into the QUBE account, and it would be very fast. I did not do that because I actually still pay my fixed bills from my main checking account. They do have a bill paying feature, so you could use that. I am just using this for my sinking funds and my actual spending categories, but my fixed accounts and my debt payment and all of that stuff is still in my regular checking account. So the way that QUBE works is you have these little spending categories, or they're actually called QUBEs, and it's just like a cash envelope system. They're essentially little envelopes, and you actually put your actual money in those envelopes, and so then you can open those envelopes and spend out of those when you are at the store, at the gas station, whatever it might be. Now they are still working on having an actual spending category separate from your sinking funds, so I actually am using the app where my sinking funds are actually in my little bill category. You can put all of your sinking funds together in your regular spending categories. The reason that I didn't like doing that is because then I could just see everything, and for me, I want it to be out of sight, out of mind. So I have my sinking funds in my bill category area because that's a separate page. I don't have to look at it. I can still easily transfer from it, pay from it, whatever I need to, but at least I'm not scrolling through and being look at all the money I have to spend. Now I do have the premium version of QUBE, which is $8 a month. QUBE is actually free. In order for you to sign up, I just bought the premium version because I wanted to have more than the 10 QUBEs that they initially give you, because obviously I have a lot of sinking funds. So you could totally try this out free. I actually have a link down below if it sounds interesting to you. But for me, $8 a month, I mean, that's literally like a Netflix subscription, and if I'm actually saving and this is helping me save thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, then $8 a month is actually very decent in my opinion. So QUBE makes it super easy in order to add money to your little envelope things. So I actually already had all of mine budgeted out since I've been using this for a month or so, but all you have to have is your budgeting numbers, and then you can just go through each one, and once you actually have, it's called your QUBE Cloud. It's essentially like your checking account. So when I move my actual money from my checking account, or if you got direct deposit, whenever you get actual money in your QUBE Cloud, then you can use that to fund all your QUBes. So at the beginning of the month, all I do is go through each category and I figure out what I am adding usually it's my budgeted amount, to each cube. And you can just go down the list and figure all of that out. So as you can see, I was doing that at the beginning of the month. So I was just going through, adding my budgeted amount, and it would update. Then all you have to do is scroll up to the top and hit fund cubes, and then all of your money that's in your cloud is going to be funding all of the cubes that you have. So now if we look, all of my cubes are funded. So I have, you know, $100 in household, I have $700 in groceries, I have $50 in spending, whatever it would be. What I really also like is that at the very top, it will tell you exactly like how much money you have in your cubes, how much your actual budgeted amount of spending is. So even though you have a specific amount in like your savings cubes or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that you're actually going to be spending that amount. So it's nice to see like, okay, maybe I have $4,000 saved because, you know, I'm building up my sinking funds, but my actual like budgeted amount that I'm, you know, say I spend $500 in groceries a month and $20 in cosmetics, that is actually a different number, which is nice because then you can see, okay, maybe I only spend $1,000 a month, but I actually have $5,000 in my cube. Well, I'm definitely like saving money there. So if we look at mine, it looks like I have $5,974 saved. My monthly budget is $27.93. So that is very helpful because then I can just take $27.93 from my actual checking account, and I know that that's going to fill all of my sinking funds, and it's also going to fill my spending funds. So it's nice because I don't have to do any extra math. I can just take that number, bring all of that money over to here, and that's going to fill my sinking funds. Like maybe my $30 I put in taxes every month, and my $500 that I'm putting towards my fertility, so that way we could pay for IVF and all that stuff. It's super easy, you guys. Literally all you have to do is fill up your cubes and then you're ready for the month. So I filled mine up. I usually do it a few days before September just so that way I'm ready. And then Cube actually keeps track, and you can see like a little green bar like going across. That way you know like how much you've spent. It will let you know how much you've spent out of each category. I did not actually have like a spreadsheet for each category for August, but I did set one up just like I would before. This is what I set up for September. So I actually have all of my categories, everything budgeted out, and then I have my fixed expenses right here. And I just think that that's going to be helpful in September in order for me to know what I did spend. Because the nice thing it is with the cubes is that even if you don't spend everything and then you add your budgeted amount, like then you have extra money. For instance, I don't know, like Costco. Like I put $75 into my Costco fund every month, but I only go to Costco every few months. So it's nice because it racks up, but it would also be nice for me to know like, okay, did I actually put my budgeted amount in? And then I wanna see like what I actually spent out of that amount too. All right, I'm gonna throw you on over to a different clip of when I actually was putting in some online grocery orders, so that way you guys can see exactly how Cube works. Hello. Okay, so I know that I've been showing you guys how I've been using Cube, and I'm actually about to be putting some grocery orders in because I want to do a pickup from Kroger and from Walmart. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that and how it works. It's super nice that you're still able to do like pickup options like this and not have to just go to the store and use your card. I love that feature. It is so nice, and it's just so helpful that literally everything can come out of my grocery fund. Like, it's nice. Okay, I'm gonna screen record. I just filled my actual like cubes and everything. It's actually still the end of August, but I filled my cubes actually just a few days beforehand just so I can get ready for the new month. It just helps because like I have to get groceries today and tomorrow. I don't have any other options because I'm gonna be going back to work. So if we wanted to eat this week, groceries had to be gotten. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to my grocery little cube, and if you hit the little square, it comes up with the cube opened and you have other options. When you're doing Kroger pickup, like you're just gonna go ahead and add to your cart and then hit checkout. Make sure it's your like local Kroger, and you usually get to pick a time. So I'm actually gonna be picking up my groceries tomorrow. I think it's like 10 a.m. Yeah, between 10 and 11. I already have my Visa card information in the Kroger app or website. So you don't have to do anything special. All you had to do was open your cube and go ahead and hit, you know, go place my order, whatever it was called, I forget, and it's going to go ahead and pull the initial money out of your grocery account. So right now it says that the total of $86.93 was taken out. So I have a balance of $619.98. Now it actually will settle later because say they don't have the lemons that you wanted, or I don't know, say you added on something, like I have until I think midnight tonight to add on to that order. So you will actually like see in your Cube transactions like, oh, my order settled for this amount. So it can actually be less. It's not going to take this full amount out. It'll just replace it back if, you know, if it's a difference. So I'm actually going to do the same thing for Walmart because I was putting in an order for that. And so I'm going to go and open my Cube again, my grocery Cube. So just go ahead and hit that button and then you can go ahead and check out. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to do. And it actually like updated, so the Cube like closes by itself. Cube balance is now $544.52. Which is good. You don't have to do any of the math. It already does it all for you. Now, I think I mostly got grocery stuff. I think there was 2 things on my Walmart order. A sink strainer for $3.44. And I think I got some Swiffer things. Yeah, some Swiffers for $7.97. So that's like $8, and $4 is what, 12? So I'm actually going to go ahead and go to my household and I'm going to transfer money. So my QUBE Money to, we're gonna go ahead and pick groceries. And then next step, and I'm going to transfer $12. I'm not gonna worry about like the chump change. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So that way, now I know that I actually like did use some of my household money for the sink strainer and the Swiffer things. And now I actually have a little bit more money in my groceries. I have $556, which is what I would be using for groceries. All right, so that was my transaction of my grocery shopping today. Hopefully that was helpful. Hello, just me again popping in. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we actually got our personal property tax bills in. So one for Alvin's car and one for my car. And I've actually been saving for this bill to come in because it comes in every year around this time. And so every single month I've been saving a little bit, which is what you would call a sinking fund. So in the Cube app, we have what are called cubes, which are the like squares that you can like open them up, you can pay from them. I went and put my sinking funds into what was called the bills cube. Now Cube is going to be working on coming out with its own separate sinking funds category. So you'll have like a bills page, your regular spending Cube page, and then you'll have a sinking fund page. But for now, since they're new and they're still working on things, I am actually using the bills page to put my sinking funds in. So the bills page is just, again, almost like categories, and I just have all of my money in there. So if I go to my property tax one, it looks like I have $170 saved in my property tax bills. Now, if I look at my 2 bills here, it looks like one of them is $80.80 and one of them is $161.59. Now, unfortunately, I did not save enough for these bills because I didn't exactly know how much they were going to be, and I only started doing sinking funds and budgeting at the beginning of this year. So the nice thing about this is now I do know the total. So what I'm going to be doing is dividing that total out for 12 months all the way till next year. So that way I know exactly how much to put in my sinking funds. But for now, I'm just gonna be moving my whole entire $170 over to our actual bank account because that's just where we pay this. This is gonna be checks that come out of our standard banking account. So it's nice, I saved that money within my Cube app. I didn't touch it, I didn't do anything else with it. It's in a category of its own. And so now I can actually hit that property tax bill and I can hit the little internal move money thing, and I'm going to actually send money to my bank. So I'm going to send it out. I already have my regular checking account linked, and so I'm going to go ahead and send $170. That's it. That's how easy it is. And adding it up, it would have been $242.39 for these two bills. So I'm going to divide that out by 12, which means that I should be saving about $21 a month, which is good because right now I have my budget at $50. And so I'm going to drop that down for $21. So that way every single month I'm putting $21 into my sinking fund for my property tax for next year's bill. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this little settings button in the top right corner, and it says bill amount, and I'm going to edit all of this. So the bill amount is actually gonna be $21. Okay, and I'm going to save that, and I'm gonna hit done. So now I'm going to be only saving $21 every single month for my property tax bill. So if I go into my little bills page, you can see, I love how at the top it'll say the balance. So that's like how much money I have saved in my sinking funds. And it will tell you how much like I put into my sinking funds every month, which is the $1,529. So if I go down to the bottom, property tax, I have zero money in it because I spent it all now. And $21 is going to be added every single month. I hope those few tutorials were really helpful. I obviously use QUBE for way more things. I've been pretty much trying to use it for all of my spending that doesn't come out from my initial bank account. So things like Netflix, where it's the same price every single month and it just already is set up for my bank account, I left those just in my regular checking. So when I figure out my actual budget in my bullet journal, I have a couple different expenses. So my fixed expenses are the ones that just automatically come out of my checking account. And for August, I figured those out, and I figured whether I was over budget or under budget for those. So those just automatically come out of my regular checking account. Then I have my QUBE expenses, which are sinking funds and actual spending expenses. So my monthly budget for QUBE is about $2,700, and about 1,000 of that is actual spending money, whereas the rest of it just goes into sinking funds that I would use for like vacation, fertility, whatever it would be. And you've probably seen the category because I had so much of my QUBE stuff up on the screen. So you see all the categories that I'm like filling and putting in. And then unfortunately, I do still have expenses coming out from my bank account that like I need to get better at just not having them. Right now, I don't have a QUBE account for Alvin. I can set it up because I have the premium feature, but I haven't really gotten him on board yet of like, you know, having to pull out his phone and open a QUBE in order to like use his spending card. So I do still have like gas and some expenses like Amazon expenses that he has just coming out from our regular checking account. I would love to cut down on those, but maybe instead I'll just try and budget for Alvin in the future just from the checking account. I don't want to like irritate him or anything by being like, here, you have to like use this app and this card, whereas like I do most of the spending because of like groceries and household items and stuff. So it's not that big of a deal if he gets gas twice a month and like buys himself new work shirts. Now we did have some extra expenses for August because Alvin actually did go on a trip to Gatlinburg with his friends. So I do have those expenses. I actually went to go visit my sister in Virginia Beach and help her out. And so I actually went over budget and I did spend some from the checking account because of that. Alvin also was buying some new work clothes for work. So we did have a bigger spending budget for clothing than I had saved from before. So all in all, we actually spent $1,300 extra than I would have liked to. Now, I haven't been working in the summer. I did just go back to work. So I will be bringing in a hefty income, which will be really nice because then I can start saving for the rest of our debt payment that we're paying off. And then I also started a sinking fund for fertility/infertility/baby. So we've been getting IUIs done and we're currently saving and getting information for IVF. But if we do get pregnant on this next IUI, like that money that I've been saving can be used for just baby things too. So I'm saving $500 a month for that. And then we've also been still paying off our debt. So we actually have this whole scam story. We didn't intentionally go in debt. We were actually scammed out of like $28,000. So right now, now in our debt payoff. We have $14,000 that is going towards that payoff, and I'm really hoping to be able to knock that out by December still, so it'll be much nicer with my paychecks coming in. Because this was my first month using QUBE, I'm still trying to get the gist of like what I need to keep track of, what I don't need to keep track of, so I don't have like an amazing amount of numbers for you guys for this month, but I'm hoping that in September, especially with QUBE, I will be able to really hone in on our spending and give you an exact number of what I spent for each category. I do have in my bullet journal an expense tracker because I ended up needing one last month for the extra expenses that we have in our regular checking account. So I'm going to be figuring out all of our like just regular checking account expenses. I don't have to like write down the ones from QUBE because they're already kept in the app. And then like I said, I have the fixed expenses, and then I'm going to have all the categories. So essentially at the end of the month, I should have a total amount of income. I do want to figure out my total amount of savings instead of just the amount that I'm putting over in QUBE because we're not spending all of that. But then I also want to find out my actual spending per category still. And I just want to have it all on one page. Like QUBE does do that where they don't have like a crazy amount of spreadsheets at the moment. They do have a statement at the end of the month, but you would have to go into each category and able to see like what you spent for that month. So I'm just gonna keep it on one, you know, piece of paper so I can show you guys very easily. So if I'm going by numbers for August, it should be about the same amount for expenses for this month. So I did transfer about $2,800 over to QUBE, and then my fixed expenses are around $1,200. So essentially that should be my total amount of expenses for the whole entire month if we don't spend anything else extra. And then last month's total income was $3,600, but I am hoping to add at least $2,000 to that with me going back to work, and I want to put that $2,000 straight into debt payoff. So I am really going to be focusing for this month on trying to not go over my spending, and that is kind of helpful with QUBE because you run out of money in your envelopes. So I need to make sure that I am not reaching for my actual checking card, only using my QUBE card, and if I don't have money in the QUBEs, it's the same idea as not having money in cash envelopes. All right, I think that's it for today's video. It might have been a little messy because I was like trying to teach you guys how to use QUBE, but definitely check out, I have a link down below so you guys can get started. Remember, QUBE is free. You can get 10 of the little QUBE cash digital envelopes for free. You don't have to pay for premium like I do. You can try it out for free. Let me know how you like it. I have been actually loving it. I've been telling all my friends about it because I think it's such a great way in order to be able to save and just have things in little separate savings accounts. That's what it feels like essentially, is that I have all these little savings accounts that I'm keeping track of all these different categories. So I'm really loving it. I hope you guys are really loving it, and I will see you guys next month with an update on what I spent in September and my October budget with me. So that's it, and I'll see you in another video. Bye everyone.